So yesterday we learned about how we can handle communication with API. How do we fetch data from API and present the data, right? You practiced it. So actually to communicate with API, lot of uh, techniques are there. Initially we are learning about how do we handle by using JavaScript fetch promise, right? Yesterday we implemented three basic things. We discussed about how to use state. We discussed about how to use effect, and we discussed about how to use fetch. So use state is for configuring the state in a function component so that we can store the data. Use effect is for which purpose? So use effect is to define two phases of a component, that is mount and unmount. Mount and unmount, I will explain this when we learn about hooks concept. Detailedly we will learn. So what is mount, unmount, what is the phase life cycle, we will see. But we have to use initially before we learn about it detailedly, because to practically handle examples, we need to deal with them. So use effect defines a hook, a method which controls two phases of a component, mount phase, unmount phase. Means at the time of loading component, you want any actions, then you can write in use effect. Same at the time of unloading component, if you want, then also use effect. Actually, syntax I will explain here. A simple basic point I will explain, because detail you will learn later. Use effect, it is a function. You can say it is a React hook. It is a React hook that provides, two functionalities. That you can say that provides following phases. Following phases. What are those phases? One is mount, another one is unmount. That provides two phases, mount and unmount. Actually, how to write those phases is, we have to write use effect. Use effect will use a callback function. This callback function is going to return. It is going to have, here you have to define actions on mount. If you want to define actions on unmount, then actually in this we use return. By using return, what you can do is, here we can define actions. We can define actions on unmount. You can define actions on unmount. Dependencies. Even there are no dependencies as of now, we will just put it empty. It is important to mention about dependencies. What are these dependencies? You will see detailedly. You will understand that, right? This is use effect. That is the hook you have learned. And what is another one you learned? You learned about fetch. What is this fetch? Actually, it is a promise. It is a promise of JavaScript. It is a JavaScript promise. JavaScript have promises. JavaScript promise. So it is used to handle communication with API. You can handle communication with API by using fetch, right? How this fetch works is, actual syntax is, this fetch works in this way. That's a general JavaScript one. Fetch, it uses URL from where you want to fetch. It uses then uses a callback function. This callback function, what it will do, it will get the response, and it will return that response. It will return the response into JSON. And another then function will use a callback function that collects the data which comes as response. And this data you can present. That means here you can present data wherever you want to store anything, you can do it. After that, there is another option called catch. Catch uses a callback function which will handle the exception. That means if any problem is there, that means exception is handled here. That means if it is failed to fetch the data, it is disconnected, then whatever error comes, that error is returned by catch, right? This is general JavaScript fetch method. By using this fetch method, you can communicate with API. After we try some examples using this, I will show you alternative methods also. So what is the drawback of fetch and what are the alternatives for fetch, we will learn, right? Let's try another example today. Yesterday I showed you NASA example, right? Actually, when you presented this, as I told you, presentation, it depends on your requirement. How you want to present, that depends on your requirement. For example, see, npm start. Okay, suppose I want to present all these photos not in a tabular form. Yesterday, what we done, we designed like a table. So, for example, you see several websites. When you look at several websites, I'm having some Amazon. When I open this Amazon website, see, it is presenting all its features, data. It is presenting all its data not in a table style. It is presenting all the data in a card style. These are cards actually. In a card style, it is presenting. For example, you see, I am having some Naresh IT website. Naresh IT, yeah. I am having some Naresh IT website. In this Naresh IT website, you can see some courses related details are present. And it is showing those courses related details here. You can see it is showing the courses related details. Yeah, the courses related details in a card style. Actually, the data for every card coming from a JSON, but they are presenting it in a card style. So data presentation, that depends on your requirement. For example, NASA details also I want to present like card. Let's see how. So I will remove this. I will remove this table. I want to present in a card style. Then after removing the table, I'm just adding a div. And for this div, we will just use a class dflex, display flex, and we will use justify, we will say flex wrap. This is enough, flex and flex wrap. After that, what we are doing here is, yeah. So here we are designing a card. We want a card for every photo. So how to access the photos? We will put a binding expression and we will write here Mars. Mars is an object. This Mars object have photos. Photos is an array. We are using a map, and this map uses a callback function. That callback function is collecting every photo, right? So photo means every item. It is collecting every item, and that item must be presented like a card. Every item must be presented like a card. Then I am designing a div. So this div, because it is repeating, I need this to have a key. And the key is item.id. ID is the property, unique reference key. And this div must behave like a card. Then we will apply a class called card. We will put a class card. We will put margin 2. We will put padding 2. And what we will do is here, inside the card, I will put an image at the top. This image should display photo. Photo is coming from src. It is coming from item dot img src. That is their data. In their data, they have a property called img src. Their data is present, and we are using some width. So width is some. I will do one thing. I will not give width. I will just give height, and height is some 200. And but I will give a class name card image top. After that, we will put a div. In the div, we will design, because we are designing a card. Actually, card have class, card header, card body. Already in the top, I have image. I will use card body. Card body. In the card body, I will put a data list. In that data term, I want to print the camera name. I want to print the camera name. Then how do we print the camera name data definition? Here we have to access item. In that camera, camera is an object in their data. That means in an object, another object is there. In that object, there is a property called full underscore name, right? This is actually the NASA data. That is actually the NASA data. You can see like this. I will show you here API nasa.gov. This is the NASA API data. This is the data. In this, you see there is a property ID. There is a property camera. Camera is an object. In that object, there is a property full underscore name. We are accessing the full name and displaying. So image SRC is having picture path, and rover is again an object that is having rover ID, rover name. I want to display the rover name. Then what we will do? To display the rover name also, we will put a data term and we will say rover name. How to print the rover name? So we will use item dot rover dot name. And I want here every card even size. Then we will do one thing here. We will go to the CSS file we added for NASA component. In that CSS file, wherever class card is used, we will put width as 200 pixel. That means all cards will have the same width to display. We are using that. We need to attach this to this component. Now this CSS must be added to this component. How to do that? At the top, we have to import. So we have to import dot slash, what is it? NASA dot component dot CSS. We have to import that CSS. Then whatever styles you written there, those will be applied here. That means it is going to apply and display all in a style like this. That means these are all the photos that we have related to that products. So we can use a lot of options. For example, suppose I am adding like this effects, like, so if it is a card and we have option as colon nth child, if it is at odd occurrence, then background color, I will give some aquamarine, like that background color I am using. That means at odd occurrence, that color will be there. Right? We are adding odd occurrence one color. For example, we have the card, which is nth child at even occurrence. So we will put a background color, suppose, so light gray. So light gray, I am adding as background color. Then even occurrence, different color. Now this is all the cards that we are having. These are all the cards we are having. That depends on how you are presenting the data. These are all styles and effects that you can define. Right? So one of the challenging one for React developers in practical interviews is the screen designs. That means in practical interviews, actually in interviews, 100% you are practically tested. React interviews means they will not leave you without practical test. Right? That means even you are experienced also, they have to test you practically. And in practical test, the challenging one, even for experienced people, is screen designs. That means they will give a sample screen design and they will say that I want like this. With only React, we can't do. Because React is only library. You need styles, you need CSS, you need to implement different types of visual effects to achieve that. And at experience level, if you are unable to achieve that screen, then that is not good. That means they will first check functionality you achieved or not. Later, second priority they will give for design. Is the design according to the requirement given or not? So you must be strong in handling various styles, effects also, right? This is one simple example how we can present data. Okay. In this example, I will upload this example. In these two files we are having, one is a nasa.component.css. In that NASA component CSS, this is the code. And we have NASA component.jsx. In this JSX, this is the code. That means we imported that CSS and we are using it. This is the code. This is a simple example of how we can present in different style. Okay. Later we will see several examples. This is one point how we can handle. Let's see another example, another API. We will see some more data, how to handle. You can try another free APIs, hundreds are there. So many APIs are there. We will see another one. There is an API called Fakestore. So Fakestoreapi.com. You can try this website. These people provide some free data for developers to practice on shopping data, means e-commerce data. They will provide some data related to e-commerce websites. So you can try this website, you can use their data, and you can create presentations. You can learn your React interactions through this data. Later, I will show our own data also. We will see that. But here, ready-made data, we are using from various sources. Actually, this Fakestore API people, you see, this is Fakestore API. This is Fakestore API people. So this Fakestore API, it is a REST API for your e-commerce or shopping website prototype. If you are designing a shopping website or e-commerce, for that, whatever sample data required, they given us. Actually, you see, they have a lot of data here. You see, they say you can try fetch method. We are using fetch method. So we can use different other also. We will see that, how to handle them. Now you see, they given lot of API requests. You see API methods. They given different API methods. We will try to use these API methods and present. Actually, these all are not required. One data is enough. But if your backend technology is providing lot of API methods, that becomes easy for a developer. For example, some 100 products are coming. In 100 products, I want to know which product belong to electronics. Then we can find out with our JavaScript skills, we can find out which product belongs to electronics. But if they have done that query in the data API itself and given to us, it is more convenient. We don't need to apply filters. We can just use existing filters. Actually, in this API, they will give lot of methods I will explain here. Today we will use them and we will try to create a design. We will try to use this. Let's see. Actually, they have a method, get method, HTTP. So it is fakestoreapi.com/ they have products. This is going to return an array. It is going to return an array of they given sample of 20 products. You can get all the 20 products by using this. So you can see, I will, you see the given products here. I click on that products. You can see it shows all the products data. And you can see this time, what is the return type? Return type is not object. The return type is what? Array. Directly array is coming. In that array, there is an object. That object have a lot of properties. Different types of properties are present. So now the point here is, this is one. Like this, they have so many methods. This is returning an array. And array of what type? Array of object type. Array of object type. It contains several objects. And actually, observe, every object contains details like ID, like title, like some category, like rating, like image. We have to use these property names to access the data and use that. So now observe here, there is another method. They have another get method, HTTP. So Fakestore, that means here it is fakestoreapi.com/products/1. This is going to return an object, means only specific product. You say one, that means first product, two, second product, three, third product, means the products are filtered by ID. They are filtering the products based on ID. Okay, if they haven't given this, how to get any product based on ID? If they haven't given this, then how to get the product based on ID? Then what JavaScript developer will do? He will write a logic like this. What is the logic? Already products is coming now. That means already products is coming. All products we have, but they haven't given based on ID. Then what we will do? We will write simply here a find method. You know find? JavaScript array have a find method. So find uses a callback. In that callback, we will read every product. And what we will return? We will return the product whose ID is matching with 1. Then it will return only that product. That means if they give us that API request, that is more convenient. If they don't give, no problem. We have our JavaScript techniques to filter. Right? I want all the products that belongs to electronics. Then what happens generally? They given a separate method for that also. They have given http:// Fakestoreapi. This is Fakestore. Yeah. The Fakestoreapi.com/products/category/category name. Category name is like electronics. Now what this is also doing, actually, this is also returning an array, but array of objects, but not all products. This is returning only which one? Electronics. You change that category name, electronics, men's clothing, women's clothing, or footwear. So whatever categories they have, then it will get only that specific and show. Only that specific and display. This is one simple point actually. We will see how we can handle that. We will understand, right? Here, this is the concept. This is the basic. There are so many others actually. If they don't give this, then how to get all products which belongs to electronics? If they haven't given this, then how? Then we have to use products.filter. We have to use a filter method. JavaScript array have a find, filter, map, lot of array methods. This filter method will read every product and it will return the product whose category is matching with what? Electronics. That means it will return all products that match with electronics. Find will return only one. Filter will return many. All that are matching that condition. That means if they provide API, you can try it. If they don't, then you have to manually implement that through logic. They have another option. They have another get. You see, they have another get fakestoreapi.com/ we have products/categories. This is actually array of string type. That is nothing but it is returning all category names. How many categories are there? Those category names. These are the basic methods they provide. As of now, we will try these methods. We will try these methods and we will see how to create a UI for this data. That means everything they provide in the form of JSON. We need to create a good presentation for that. Let's do that. Now I'm taking here a simple example. Let's go to here. Let's go to the URL. Here you check there. Products/1. You can see it is returning only one object. It is returning only one object. I'm using products/categories. It returns all categories array. It is a simple array of categories. Suppose products/category, category/some jewelry. It will return only jewelry products. Like this, already they have designed filters and they provided URLs. So that is very good. We can be very convenient in filtering, searching, because already they're done. Even they don't give, doesn't matter, because we can implement through a lot of functions we need to manually write. I will show both techniques, how we can manage that. Let's do this now. We will create a simple shopping-like example, right? Let's do one thing. I will create a new component. Let's add another component. In our components folder, I am adding a component newly by name shopper. Suppose fake store I will use like. fake store API. Okay, this is fake store API I am giving. In this, I will add one new file, fake store dot component dot css. I'm just giving the suffix component traditionally. It's not necessary. You can give just fake store, right? Because traditionally for components, we use the suffix component. It is not mandatory to do that. You can give a simple name. Next, I will add another fake store dot component dot JSX. I'm using fake store component CSS and JSX. Okay. In JSX, I'm creating a simple design. So export function. So fake store component. Yeah. In that fake store component, let's create a presentation. Return a simple container, class container fluid. Okay. And here, let's create a design. I'm just adding a header. In this header, I will put a heading as a fake store, right? And beside this, let's keep this in a div. And yeah. And here another div. So in this, I will just give some design. Let me keep some span. Like this is like home. Another span like electronics. Another span like men's jewelry. Yeah. And another span like men's clothing. Men's some fashion. Okay. And here we have women fashion like this. Men's and women's fashion. Actually, their data is having it. Their data is having this. This I am adding here. Like I will keep another div. So let's put a span. So class BI some search. I will put a span class name BI some heart fill heart something, and span class name BI some person like this I am adding, and another span class name BI cart like this I am adding one option. Now you can see this fake store component JSX I will keep in the startup. I will put fake store component in the startup. In index I am defining. Now you can see this is fake store component. I just created this design, and what I will do now, here I will add class name deflex, justify content. Yeah, justify content between. Okay, now you can see this is how it looks like. At the top, we are adding all this, and here we will keep some padding as 2. Okay, that is how it looks like. And every span here, what we will do is, so class name, margin end as 2. Let's keep margin end 2 for everyone. Later, I will make them function, right? Currently, we are just giving label. Later, we will make them work, right? Functional. Okay, this is home, electronics, jewelry, fashion, and all, right? So I think 4 can be better. Okay, this is some gap is added for them. And right side here also, we are adding some ME4, ME3, fine. I will set this space for all of them. This is the design. At the top, we have these options. That is the back here. We will keep the header as BG dark and the text white. Okay, this is the header. So we are having a header here. So margin top 2, that is the header. This is the header we are having, right? Now under this header, we will create some design. We will make this functional also. We will make that work, right? Now what we will do here, below this, we are adding the below header, we are adding a section. In the section, I will create a nav area and I will create a main area. We have 2 areas, nav and main. In this section, class name, I will give margin top 4, and this becomes row. In that class name, this becomes call 3 and this becomes class name call 9. We have to share among 12, right? Navigation. In the left side navigation, we will keep a div. So we will keep here a label. In the label, we will put a class called form label. And here we will write, so select category. And below that, we will keep a div. In that, we will keep a select. And this select will have a class form select. Okay, now you can see this is actually label. I will keep this 2 is enough, I think. I will keep this 10. That means now you can see this is the category. Select a category here. Now I want to display what are all the categories provided by that API. Product categories. For that, they have a separate API. We need to fetch that and display those details here. That means you see in their API, fakestoreapi.com/products/categories. This is returning all categories. I want to load all these categories in the dropdown. Get from the API and display in dropdown. So we don't want to hard code. We need to get from this and display. Then how to do that? Let's see how we can display in the dropdown. Let's see. For that, first step, we have to import. We will import 2 things. One is use state from React. Another one is use effect from React. So in that, now we will create a constant. One is categories that contains list of all categories, set categories. And it is use state. Categories is what type? Array. It's a simple string array. We are expecting an ordinary string array. That is an array. Okay, next. As of now, this is enough. We need to create a mount event. How do we define mount event? Use effect. Use effect uses a callback function. This callback function and a dependency empty. This callback function will use fetch. You can write one function and call it. You know JavaScript reusability. JavaScript reusability, how you will do? You can write code in a function. You can call that function. So what I can do, I can write a function here. What is the function? Load categories. That is a JavaScript function. What it has to do? Load all the categories into state. Then we will use fetch. Fetch from which URL? http://fakestoreapi.com/products/what? Categories. Then. So then we have to use a callback function. In this function, we need to fetch the response. We have to get the response. And we need to return the response in which form? JSON. After that, then. So then, another function. We will collect the data. And this data we will store in categories. That means set categories. Into that we will send the data. That means all the categories are stored. We are fetching data of all categories and we are assigning to these categories. Now, this load categories should fire up automatically when our component is mounted. In component mount, you call that function load categories. You know general JavaScript technique of dealing with functions, right? That means it will load all the categories when component is mounted. Those categories we want to print here. Then here we need to write a binding expression. What is the collection? Categories dot map. We have to read every category. We have to read every category and print every category where we have to print every category as option. Option actually contains value and text. So first, because it is iterating, we have to put a key. Key is what? Category. Value is what? Value is also category. Value is nothing but what to submit when user selects. You know that drop down have value and text. Text can be different, value can be different. What you show is different. What you submit is different. What you submit is value. What you show is this here. That means here also I will use category. category. This is your text to display. This is the value to submit. Value to submit. Now you can see the drop down is ready with categories. These all categories are coming from where? These all categories coming from API. But here the category is starting with electronics. I want another category called all, but they don't have it. In their data, they don't have all, but I want all. Is it possible that you can add any new element into array? Of course, we can add new elements into array, remove elements from array. We know JavaScript array methods. How to add a new element into array? 3 methods are there. We can use push, we can use unshift, you can use splice. Push will add a new item as last item. Unshift will add as first item. We need unshift because all must be added as first item. Splice will add at any place you want, right? Now what I have to do is, in this function, you see, you are assigning this data, into categories. Before assigning into categories, into this data, add one more. How to add one more? Just data dot unshift. Unshift, I will add all. Then you can see that this is there. That means it is loading. And once it loads, it will get us all. And the first one will be all and others will be like this. But I want these category names in capital letters. Your wish, you can display any way you want. Then what I can do here, while displaying the text here, the category name I will put as dot to uppercase. You know, uppercase to uppercase is a string function of JavaScript. That means it will convert that into uppercase. It will show like this. But remember, value I will keep in lowercase only, because in their data, category name is lowercase. And if you select uppercase is submitted. We are not doing like that. They will select uppercase, but they will submit lowercase. So that filter will correctly work, because in their data, category name is lowercase. You have to search by lowercase only. Capitalization matters in JavaScript. Or otherwise, you have to convert the case and search. That will take time. Instead of that, directly pass in lowercase now. Okay. Now the menu is ready. Now remember, it's not like you create like a drop down. Actually, you can create anything like this. For example, if anybody asks like, can't I design the top menu with API? Here I hard-coded these names. Like electronics, men's clothing. Can we do this by using API itself? Yes. You can repeat the span. In that header, you can repeat the span. That also works. You can put drop downs. You can create checkboxes. You can create radio buttons. That depends on your requirement. Suppose if anybody asks like, I want all the categories like checkboxes. How you will do? It's simple. Already I showed you. Iterations of links, buttons, checkboxes, drop down list, how to create. We can try that. That means actually what you do, suppose you want to display like checkbox, then you do another work here. So I am adding a simple unordered list. Just roughly I'm showing. In this, what we will do, categories dot map. You read every category, and every category must be printed as what? List item. In that list item, we put input type is what? Checkbox, input type checkbox, and beside the checkbox, you put the category name. That means it will create a checkbox for all categories. That depends on how you want, right? So later we can try other options also. This is enough. First, we will implement this point. Okay. Now I want all the products. How many products are present? All products in the center. That means in the right panel, I want all the products, whatever they provide there. So let's do one thing here now. What I will do here, let's create another object for state, constant. This time products, set products, and it is use state. It is of what type? Array. That is an array. You can even mention that it is an array of what type? Object. It is an array of object. Array of object means it contains lot of other details. If you want, actually later you will learn in TypeScript, I will tell you, because JavaScript is not a strongly typed language. JavaScript is not a strongly typed language, hence data type mentioning is not required actually. But later when you learn TypeScript with React, in TypeScript it is strongly typed. What properties you are using, you have to mention those properties and their data type also. That means you have to tell that ID is a number. But in JavaScript, you don't have strongly typed nature. So no need to mention that here. We are not mentioning those details here. I will just use array, ordinary array. In that array, element can be any type, string type, object type, it can be any type. Let's see. Now what we will do, we will write another function. What is the function? We will write another function, load products. What this function have to do? It should fetch all the products and load. That means what we will do now, we will use again fetch. Fetch from where? http:/fakestoreapi.com/what? Products and .then. So we have to use then. It uses a callback function response. This response should return in the form of JSON. Why? Because fetch returns data by default in binary form. You can't directly use it. Convert to JSON and then use it. So then again, then we need to collect the data and assign this data into set products. Into that send the data. Right? This is how we need to implement. Okay, finish. Now I need to load these products at the time of mounting. Then I will just use load products. Later we will do some more modifications into it. Initially this is okay, load products. Now all the products I want to display in this main area like a card style. Then what we will do, just we will create a div. Right? In this div, what we will do here, so we will add a class. We can use flex and all these options. We will directly put that flex inside a main itself. Here itself we will add deflex. Here we will use what? Flex wrap like this. And here we want to design a card for every product. That means we will use products dot what? Map. Map, we will, for every product we need to design a card. So we will create a div. This div will have a key. What is the key? Product.id. And it will have a class name. The class name is what? Card. So margin 2, padding 2, like this we define. Now in this card, so this is card. In this card we will put an image. We want to display the product photo. Then product photo src comes from, it is coming from product dot, there is a property called image. In this API, they have an image property, which will return that image. Then we will put height as a, suppose 160, 150. Then we will put a class called card image top. After that, below that, we will keep a div. And for this div, we will put a class name called card header. In the card header, I will put a paragraph. Here, I will put product title. Product title. A product title is, you can apply this with a class called card title. We have card title. And after that, here we will put a div, and this will use, actually, this will use a class card body. In the card body, I want to display the product price and rating. I will put a data list, data term. So here we will say product price, data definition, product dot what? Price. After that, another data term, we will say rating. How do we display the rating? Actually, in their data, they have product dot rating is an object. In that rating object, they have two details. One is rate, another one is count. I will use dot rate. Dot rate. Dot rate will return the rate. And in the square brace, I will use here. Here I will use product dot what? Rating. Rating dot what? Count. And here I will put a span. And in the span class name, bi star fill and text success. Like this we will give. This is the card. And you can see that all the products are displayed in cards. Whatever products are present, they are displayed in cards. All these are displayed in cards. And here what we are doing is, here you can see these are all the cards. This is the actual, we can adjust a lot of height, width, and for other contents for this. And you see now what we will do is actually, I will go here, we will add wherever card is there, right? So card what, wherever card header is there, card header is there, height for card header 150 I will give. And we need to import this here. How do we import that? We need to define what is it. Import what? This is CSS now. So we have to use dot slash what? fake store dot component dot CSS. We have to import that component dot CSS. Height is increased for them, right? And for example, height for every card header, suppose 130 is enough. I will adjust that. And below the card here, I will scroll down for every card body. After that, I will keep a div, and here we will put a class name card footer. In card footer, I will put a button. So add to cart, and we will make it function. We will make it function, not only just designing. First we will design, then make it work. So this is bi cart 4 something. And this button is having class btn danger and w100. Now this is a add to cart button available for every product. For every product, add to cart button is there. But very important, when I am scrolling all the products, it should not scroll my header. The header is scrolling, header should not scroll. Then we will do one thing, wherever main is present, because we kept everything in the main area. So we will keep main height as 500 pixels. After that, overflow, we will keep auto. Then what happens is the main will have a scroll bar, only this will scroll. Your rest of content is not scrolling, only this part is scrolling. Only this part is scrolling. Right? This is what we are creating and configuring. Now, actually what should happen, it is displaying all categories. Now I want to link this filter. When user selects electronics, only electronics must come. That means I need to write the filters now. That means this is what the point is. They just give data. All this design, that's your design, right? You keep where you want. You design where you want. You set how filters. They are not giving all this. They are just giving data. They are giving API data. Every design, every functionality, you need to configure according to requirements. Now, when user selects this, I want the category related products to come here. How to manage that? How do we manage that? So we need to write an event on change. Remember, when user changes, these products should load again. That means this load so many times. But every time, not all products. One time electronics, one time men's clothing, another time women's, like that. Then how you can design a function which can work for different requests? Then we will do one thing. What we will do is, we will say that this load products will take the URL according to your requirement, and it will use that URL here. Understood? That means now it is expecting a URL from you. You tell which URL, it will load that. That means at the time of loading your component, it should load all products. Then what will be the URL? HTTP. Let's continue. So here we are going to the products here, and what should be the load? Because this load products is expecting URL. Then what is the URL? All products must be loaded initially. So it is fakestoreapi.com / what? Products. That means this URL it will take and it will assign into this state called products. That means now products contains all products. Let's run this and see. And you can see all the products are there. Now, what should happen? We have to write event for this change, right? Let's go and write the event for that change. So we will write a function. So what is the function name? Function is handle category change. That is the function. Now we have to attach this to this drop down. That means we have to say on change, handle category change. Okay. How to collect its value? By using event argument, you can collect its value. What that event will return, which category you selected, it will return. Which category you selected, it will return. So you see their API is having this URL. What is this URL? Products slash category slash your category name. You add electronics, electronics will come. You add jewelry, jewelry will come. So what we will do is the drop down value we will attach to that. That means we will call a function called load categories, load products. What this load products is expecting URL. This time, which products it should load? Only the products that belong to that particular category. Which category? The category they selected in drop down. So http:// we can use a binding expression here. That means JavaScript binding expression is written in backticks. http:// this is fakestoreapi.com/products/category name is not standard. This category name we will bind coming from event dot target dot value. You saw that last session I explained. This returns the value that is selected or entered inside a drop down or a text box, anything. Now what is the meaning of this? It will load products whose category is the category you selected. Now see what will happen now. I will go here. Currently I will refresh. It is loading all. Currently all are there. I will select a category called jewelry. That means only jewelry products will come. Others are not there. I am selecting here electronics. Only electronics will come. These are electronics. Now I am selecting here men's clothing. Only men's clothing will come. I selected women's clothing. Only women's clothing will come. But all it is not coming because we haven't written for that. That means what we have to do, we have to write a condition here. The condition is nothing but in this function, what is the condition? If event dot target dot value is equal to all. If it is all, then load products have to load all products. How to load all products? http://fakestoreapi.com/what products. It is all products. Otherwise, if it is not all, then it will load only the products that belongs to your category. That is the condition you have to write. That means now you see it is displaying all products here. I selected jewelry, only jewelry will come. Again, I selected all, then again all products will come. Right? I am selecting only women's clothing, only women's clothing will come. I selected all, again all products will come. Everything will come. Now, can I make that work on this click also above? That means when user clicks on this, it should fetch only those and display. Of course, you can do that. You can make them clickable. On click, you can get the value and filter only that. I will explain those also. But this is not done. Now, what we have to do? User must able to select a product, add to cart. When users add to cart, it should update here. How many items are there in the cart? Is it 1? Is it 2? And when user clicks on that, it should show cart items. How many items he added in the cart? He must able to remove the items, add the items. This entire functionality we can achieve, right? That we will see in the next session, right? First, up to this, you have to try. If you can try up to this, then we can make it more functional in the next level, right? First, up to this, you need to practice, right? This entire example I will upload. Now, this example we will continue in the next session. So in the next session, we will add to cart items, all that functionality that we will see in the Monday session, right? So in Monday session, we will discuss about that, right? So you take time, you try this. If you have any difficulty, let me know, right? So if you can do this, then based on that, I can give you some tasks now. If you can try this, once I finish this example